do hire people to help us set up and clean up after the events because we get money for the paid renting of the place for these weddings and other things I'm talking about. The rest of the money comes from donations and other things, and we really have picked up in donations as well as visitors. I don't know the percentage, but we're talking a couple of dollars every person that comes in there on average. Considering we get a lot of kids, and we have seen kids take out their allowance and put it in there. But I think it's a case that, as your question going back before was, how do we get on the map? How do we make people aware? I'm hoping the advertising will do well. There's several publications. Merritt Island Now magazine is going to have a big feature on it in June. Most of the Florida Today has promised a good Memorial Day coverage, and the other papers. I'm hoping to get Channel 13, Radio 1300, as well as your work here is crucial.
Yes, sir.
Because, in today's world, each media reaches different people.
Yes, sir.
Like, I'm still determined to read a paper newspaper. Some days in the condo, I'm the only one that gets a paper newspaper. But I really feel like we need to reach out in every way we can. And once there, and once coming in, all the different projects we have going on are sort of come to light, and all of a sudden they come back. Or maybe they want to organize a function for a group of veterans. This weekend, we have 4 different groups coming in. A group that is going to do fishing lessons for kids who have no fathers, who have, come from very tough backgrounds. One group. Another group coming in from Kissimmee, yeah. Who are private school kids, who majority of whom parents are veterans, so the veterans and the kids are coming. I just talked with Chick-fil-A, for example. They offer to provide free lunches for them. So they'll come an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, and go tour our museum, have fun in the park, have a nice lunch, courtesy of Chick-fil-A, Merritt Square Mall. Again, veteran-supporting organization, like we have many in the county. And then we also have a group from another school, which is a preschool. What's the name of this? Some very funny name. First and second graders coming. And finally, a group coming in from Jacksonville who are women veterans with their families, because there's nothing like this in Jacksonville. That's a much bigger city, so I'm very proud of that we're in that position.
So do you feel like you're bringing healing back to our community?
For those veterans who need healing, I think so. And I'm hoping that those who are skeptical give us a chance. If you're listening to this and you are a veteran and you're wondering about your place in our society, you won't wonder anymore when you come out and see what we have put together over these many, many years with much effort and sacrifice. But it's a place that we want to honor all veterans. We can argue about what comes first, teaching American citizens about what a veteran is or honoring veterans. They're all together. Yes, because if we honor our veterans, they will go out forward and they'll honor themselves and what being a veteran is. Too often you hear about a veteran who's homeless or a veteran who may be on drugs or something. These are such a minority. And these people, if we can identify them, we can get them the help. Brevard County is right on the forefront of eliminating homeless veterans. I mean, the official statistics have gone from like 400 4 or 5 years ago to 39 this year. So I think that, the county and all the organizations that care, churches, all kinds of people are out there to try to, not just veterans, but all people that need to step up. But we're also realize that Brevard County, with the good weather, will keep coming. People will keep coming down here. And some of them won't have the means and resources and need some help. And, I'm a firm believer, as are you, I know, Opal, of education.
Yes, sir.
And getting your feet on the ground, and then working hard, maybe part-time, going back to school, even if it has to be online or part-time, and then get some education. Doesn't have to be a college degree. Can be a skill as a mechanic, something that will give you a way to make a life for yourself, raise a family properly, and really have a chance to live that American dream.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What are some of the challenges that you see going forward?
Well, I think the biggest challenge we have right now is getting everything done, because the enthusiasm is so high. We want to make every event, Every request, every question, we want to get a positive result. And some days we're just tied up in there 5-6 hours a day as volunteers in the center, just answering questions. Once the wave of things start, and they've already started, but I mean, really get going with the park especially, I think that we'll be in a position then perhaps to hire some veterans to help us do that. And if you're a veteran, say you're 26 years old and you fought in Iraq or Afghanistan, and you're thinking about going to school, but you're not sure, and you can't get a job that works or something. Maybe even if you have a job, maybe on the weekends come out and see, okay, what is it that I can connect with these people and get some of their experiences. Very proud of the fact that we now have a half a dozen Iraq and Afghanistan era veterans who spend an average of 20 hours a week with us. They are work study or volunteers or looking at different things, and the joy in their face as they see things that they're putting together. You'll never believe what an Afghan member of the American military who's putting together a World War II mannequin to be exactly like World War II, how meticulous he wants it to be. Mm-hmm. So I think that I'm very, very proud of that, and I hope we get more of those. To me, the challenge is really past. We've made the expansion. It's nearly finished from this stage. There'll be others, but now we want to make it very, very special. And we want it to become a place that people will say, oh, I'm going down to Brevard County. I'm going to go to the Space Center and see that history. I'm going to go to the Porsche House or certain other key places in the county. We have a wonderful group called MOB, Museums of Brevard. We're an active member. Our people helped to start that organization. The museum curator I mentioned, Assistant Curator Becky Zingarelli, is the president of that organization. They just put out a pamphlet. You saw it at the Cape Canaveral thing.
Yes, sir.
30-some museums, all in the Brevard County. We're not competitors, but we want everybody to know who knows about history, who wants to learn about history, can put that on the tour. We also have a challenge. I'm glad you asked that question. And if anybody's listening to this from Port Canaveral, please remember the cruise buses always stop at the mall, because a lot of the cruises come in just for one day. So this is a stop too. It's not just a departure and return point. I think there's about 5 ships that do that now. So they stop at the mall, but they don't stop behind at the Veterans Center. A number of people walk over all the way from the mall and come and see us. We have people already from 30 different countries, mostly because of the cruise ships that have visited the Veterans Center. So I think that would be a challenge. Try to figure out how to get us in on that tourist stop place.
Yes, sir.
So that we can spread the word more and more.
I'm just floored because you're so awesome. You're doing so much, and just your desire and your passion, not just for what you've experienced, but giving back in the community is so vital. And you're saying everything with a smile on your face. But I know the museum offers more than just a park or library. You also give assistance. Yes,
we've created. And I'm having trouble getting everybody to understand this, but we've created what I call a Veterans Support Center. We don't want to compete with the VA or compete with the hospital. We're not doing any medical stuff, but we're having a Veterans Support Center now. The biggest player there, is our DAV, Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 123. Easy name to remember. They have 17 volunteers who work every morning from 8 until 12:30. Last year, they helped 3,500 veterans and their families to understand the VA system. They helped widows to learn their benefits. In many cases, their spouses had not told them what the benefits are for having been a veteran. They help people in all ranges. We have a special program. I don't know that he'll be happy I advertise it, but Bob Doyle, our operations manager, runs a special program for those veterans who fall between the cracks called Emergency Assistance Project, Emergency Assistant Program. If a veteran comes in, say he's traveling from Miami to Jacksonville, and he didn't anticipate expenses. He got 2 kids, no gas, no food for a day, and he comes into the Memorial Center, we'll find a way to help him. 80% of these guys pay us back once they get the money, because we're telling them, look, this is a loan. But you can't get a loan from the VA or the other legal people. You may not know a church to go and get help. And it's not a question of getting a free meal. It's maybe enough money to buy gas. So we have some churches. I'll put in a plug for St. David's by the Sea Church. It gives us regularly funds for that emergency assistance program. The VFW out in Cape Canaveral is another, and we hope we'll get more that will give us that. And we very carefully manage it, and then we replenish it with the people. If we don't get it back, we're going to say, okay, well, at least we helped the veteran. Mm-hmm. We're not talking huge money here,
yes, sir,
but we're talking important money. Sometimes the VA can be 2 or 3 weeks away from enough money for the person to pay the electric bill. He'll get the money eventually, but if we can get the power turned on, they got a 6-month-old baby in an August heat, that to me is just tells you right there you need to do something like that.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
What personally have you experienced doing what you do? I was going to ask you that.
Well, that's pretty challenging. I think personally I've experienced a lot of realization that I need to adjust. I'm one of these crazy people that want to get it done now, want to get it done right. And you can't do that. You got to make sure to incorporate all ideas and bring everybody's idea in and then convince people to work with you and get the things done. So that's been a big challenge, but I think I've done it now. There are still some people say, Don, you're driving us crazy. Can you not call again about this donation or whatever? But so I try to keep that in check. But for me personally, it's not overworking myself. As we get older, you don't have to worry about this for a long, long time. But I'm a baby boomer leading edge of that wave. So we're talking as you get older, you realize how much life you have left, and you want to make sure to live it right. And I remind myself, here I live on a condominium on the ocean. I haven't been to the beach in like a month because I get so wrapped up in wanting to do these things. And I really feel like I need to, do more there. And but my wife is so solid, and you met her. So you'll know she said, okay, Don, we're going to go and take our, this Sunday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, we're going to take our granddaughter on a trip to 3 colleges all over the Southeast. And she's already been accepted to them. She's going to choose which one because her dad is serving in Afghanistan right now. So he can't do it. Her mom's doing a special program, can't get away. So we're going to be grandparents and go back 20 years in our experience as we took our 4 kids to all these college trips, and we'll take her. We'll get to know her. We'll get to really understand, and we'll get to help her make the right decision for her college education. And to me, my wife, if I had said, and I got 6 important meetings next week, but my wife said, there aren't important meetings more than that. So getting my life into perspective is a challenge that I want to do better at.
What would you say, what wisdom would you give to the veterans that need support?
Yeah. We have a number of veterans that I've been able to talk to have not reached out until an accident, like our meeting at the Cape Canaveral.
Yes, sir.
Don't wait. If you have, even if you don't want to express it your first visit, come around a bunch of other veterans. Any one day you can find at least 15 or 20 veterans at the Veterans Memorial Center volunteering and doing different things. And if you're a veteran who has some time, think about a 4-hour shift every 2 weeks and come in volunteering to do that. See all the things that were part of your life and then go back in history to the Revolutionary War and think about that long line. In our country, 1.2 million Americans have died in combat, direct combat, since the Revolution. And how many millions and millions of more could have died and were willing to go to the fight knowing they could have died. Yes. To me, there's no separating the fallen from the rest of us because we are with them.
Yes,
and many of us have died and may will die to save our buddy, because that's the concept of the greatest military in the history of the world, and the concept of a country that was founded on that one document that has been the most successful country in the history of the world. And we need to make sure it stays that way.
Well, I think that definitely the museum is definitely like a life preserver.
Yes, I hope so. And it can. We're not going to force you into anything,
right?
But we want you to know it's there, and then come and use it. One of the veterans that came recently said, He said, I don't have time to volunteer at the museum, but I'm bringing my family to get a kayak and go out there this weekend. And then really